Hi, this is Ike from IkesOutdoors.com. Today we're going to talk about how to sight your bow in. We're just going to basically cover the real basics of it and how to set it up, and we'll give you a few tips and pointers on how to get it close before you even start. What I've done is I've got my Athens Accomplice here, and I've taken that orange relic that I have on here off, and I've put this AMP on here. And I don't know anything about this sight. I've never had it on this bow, so it could be pretty far off. But I do have a few things that I do right off the bat to a sight before I even shoot the bow, and I can generally get pretty close. One of the things I'll do, the first thing I'll do to set my left and right, is I'll actually put an arrow on here. Get one of my victories. And I'll line up my sight pins, left and right on my sight pins, just a little bit left of where my arrow is at, where my arrow is centered up. And generally that'll get my left and right pretty close. Now if you're left-handed, you want to go just a little bit right of your arrow. What I do is I put my pin just on the outside edge of that arrow, and that generally gets it pretty close. Now up and down, I always kind of start in the middle. I've got this sight actually hanging just a little bit low because I know with my anchoring point and the sights that I've had before that I generally shoot pretty low. So it's going to be pretty close if you'll set it up like that. And the first thing I do when I'm sighting in my bow is I'll shoot it from 10 yards and see how it's hitting. Now, when you start changing this thing, there's a pretty easy rule to follow to be able to sight your bow in. All you need to do is follow your arrow. Follow your arrow with your sights. So if I shoot and my arrow is shooting right, I need to move my sight pins to the right. If I shoot and my arrow is shooting low, I need to move my sight pins down, and so on. So follow your arrow. Simple, easy thing to remember, and it'll help you get your bow sighted in. Now I'm in my indoor range here, and I've only got about 10 yards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I can hit the bag. And if I can hit the bag at 10 yards, then I'm going to move out to 20 yards from there and see if I can get this thing sighted in. And before I make any adjustments to my bow, I always shoot 2 to 3 arrows. If I shoot one and it's dead in the bullseye, and I shoot one and it's low, then I'm not going to make any kind of adjustment till I've shot 3 or 4. And wherever I'm getting a good consistent group, that's where I'm going to move my sight. One arrow don't mean a whole lot to me because I can make a bad shot. So let's see where this AMP's hitting. I'm going to shoot a couple arrows here because I was right pretty far and I was low pretty far. So before I make any kind of adjustments, I'm going to shoot a couple more arrows and make sure that it wasn't me. Yeah, I hit about in the same spot. We'll shoot one more and then we'll make some adjustments. Yeah, okay, those 2 arrows are stacked right up on top of each other, so I'm going to make some adjustments to this sight real quick. So, I'm shooting low and right. So the only thing you need to change your sights is a set of Allen wrenches. So the first thing I'm going to do is move my sight to the right. And some sights have them and some don't. I always like to buy a sight that's got windage marks on it. It makes it real easy to sight these things in because you can tell exactly how much you're moving it. The sight's really tight and really hard to move, so don't be afraid to hit them with your Allen wrenches if you have to. Oh, there it went. Got plenty out of it that time. See, that's the advantage of your windage marks. I moved it a bunch, but I knew right where it was at when I loosened it up, so I was able to put it right back close. See if you can see the windage marks on here. You should be able to see the windage marks right there. So now this one doesn't have windage marks for the up and down, it's just got them for the left and right. Well, the left and right are called windage marks, your up and down are elevation, I guess. So if you want to be real technical. Okay, so I was shooting low. So I'm going to move my sight down. And a lot of these sights, most of the new sights have gang adjustment. And what gang adjustment means is where you're moving your entire housing. You're not just moving the individual pin, you're moving the entire housing. So that makes it real nice because you only got to make one or two moves to get it adjusted where you want it, and then you can fine tune your pins from there. What I'll do is I'll sight in my 20-yard pin just by using the gang adjustment, and then I'll use the actual pin adjustment for my 20, 30, 40, however far I want to shoot. So we'll see what kind of movements that did for us. I'm not sure where that one hit. That got it pretty close. Now I'm shooting just a little bit below the target, and I'm shooting just a little bit right. So I'm close enough now that I feel like I can go outside and shoot at 20 yards and not be in danger of missing the target or missing the backstop. And I'll go ahead and make a little bit of adjustment before I go out there. I'll lower my sight a little bit more and move it a little bit more to the right, and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to pack everything up and head outside, and we'll shoot out there and try to fine-tune this sight. We got her sighted in at 10 yards downstairs, and I raised it up just a little bit, so at 10 yards I'm shooting just a little bit high. And we're going to step back here at 20 yards, and we're going to see how close we are. Okay, so for 20 yards, that's not too bad. Got two of them in the bullseye there and two of them a little high and left. And that's why I always shoot a group. If I shot these two alone, I would have moved my sight and I might have been off. So I've got her pretty close now, and I'm going to keep shooting it. If I get this consistent high left shot, then I'll move my sight. So there's a few things that you need to follow when you're sighting your bow in. The only tools you're going to need is a good set of Allen wrenches. The one thing to keep in mind, the rule that I go by, is follow your arrow. If you're shooting right, move your sight right. So follow your arrow. Wherever it's going, move your sight in that direction, and that'll help you get it sighted in. I always start out at 10 yards, just make sure I can hit the bag, and then I move back from there. I hope this helps everybody out. Please visit our website, ikesoutdoors.com. Please sign up for our newsletter. We do that every week. Just gives you a little more in-depth on what we're doing, videos that we have coming up, and takes a little bit closer look at some of the products that we've been testing. So sign up for that newsletter, and please leave us a comment on this video. Appreciate you watching.
I like good times.